Hi there. So we're going to be building a piano from scratch, an ambient textural piano from scratch. So let's get to it. As I go through this, actually, let's take a step back for a second. So the reason I decided to do this was I was hiking recently in the Cascades, and for some reason I could not get the Minecraft piano music out of my mind. I don't know why. It was just there, and anyway, I was thinking about it for hours, and so when I got home, I did some research and found that a lot of the techniques that were used to create that soundtrack were very generative in nature, and that's something that Brian Eno pioneered with ambient music, particularly with music for airports, which is a fascinating album, the way that was made. And anyway, it got me interested in building musical systems, kind of, which is much less traditional than, like, you know, composing specific notes and then building the sections around those notes. And that's one way of doing it. And I've done that like for most of my life. But I don't know, I became very captivated by this idea of building a system, and you create the rules, and then the rules create the music, and then you kind of go through and you pick and choose what you like, and then you can create structure out of it. But anyway, so this was this was probably 90% of what I did for my most recent album called Ocean Whispers. A lot of the textures I generated on that album were with this method. Some with piano, some with guitar, some with like wind sound samples, some field recordings that I did. But anyway, let's dive into it. So here we are. Yes, so the samples that I just recorded. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put this into isotope RX, and we're going to denoise it. And I'm still using the old version here, which is, yeah, whatever. It is what it is. Look at how cool this is. You can actually see, you know, the individual harmonics for each note. You're sort of witnessing just how mechanical the piano really is in nature. Anyway, so let's denoise it. Let's get all this crap out of here. Let's teach it first what noise sounds like. All right, we're going to go to denoise. We're going to go to spectral, learn this. Okay, now I want to hear what it sounds like when a note's playing. Good, and we didn't lose anything there, so let's go ahead and process. All right. Yeah, a lot of noise gone. Okay. Let's call this Gen Piano Denoised. All right, now we're going to pull up Logic Pro, and we're going to dice this guy up and turn it into playable samples that we can use in Kontakt. Now, there is a feature in Logic that allows you to cut samples to the transient, but I always find it never does exactly what I want it to. I always have to come in and edit anyway, so I'm just going to do these all by hand, and we're going to fast forward this for you so you don't have to deal with the monotony of it. Now we are going to export all of these files individually. Alrighty, now we're going to create a Kontakt instrument. I'm going to create a new one by double-clicking in here. Click on the wrench or spanner icon. Go to Mapping Editor. Okay. Now, let's see how we want to do this. Let's do round robins as groups. That'll be easiest, I think. So we're going to do the round robin 1 first. All right. Am I good? I'm good. Okay. 4. All right. And now I'm going to click Edit, and I'm going to go to Batch Functions. Just kidding. I'm going to go to Auto Map Functions. I'm going to go to Auto Map Setup. Okay, and I'm going to ignore the round robin, and I'm going to set to a single key, the note value. Cool. All right, let's make sure that worked. Yep. There's some other noise in there is going to be probably annoying, but we'll deal with that in a second. Okay, this is group 1. Let's call this round robin 1. We're going to duplicate selected groups only. Oh wow, so it does transfer the samples over. Okay, but it keeps 1. All right, group start options. We're going to make this round robin. We're going to cycle it. This is going to be 1. This is going to be 2. If I can get there. Why are you... Oh, that's why. I'm an idiot. I've got edit all groups on. Okay, 2. All right, that should do it. Cool. That's exactly what I wanted. Okay, now we're going to go to round robin 2 and get all these samples in here. Okay, and now we're going to do the same thing with these guys. Auto map setup, set to single key. Yep, cool. All right. So now, can you hear hopefully that we have a different E? Different B. Cool. All right, so now we're going to, I'm going to spread these samples out, at least the middle ones. I'm not sure how far down. Let's try C1, I guess, to start. So thanks for sticking with me this far. I feel like at this point I should point out that my main goal with this is I'm not trying to recreate a perfect, a mechanically perfect piano in software. There are already instruments out there that do that really well. Niels Fromm has a piano that he put out with Native Instruments that's amazing. Olafur Arnolds has a piano that he put out with Spitfire that's fantastic. Those are great, and those capture all of those subtleties that you'll have. You've got a player shifting around on the bench. You've got background noise. You can increase the mechanical noises. All of those things. That's not what I'm trying to do with this. What my ultimate goal with this instrument is, I'm just chasing textures. I'm trying to find a soundscape that is inspiring to me, and this is one method that I've found that can help me get there. So that's what this is. So, keeping that in mind, now let's see what we got. Okay, it's a very simplistic piano. It's definitely missing some velocity layers and all that. But that's okay, because like I said, we're not trying to recreate reality here. This is going to be the basis for the texture, and the thing that's going to provide a lot of the nuance and complexity that we're looking for in an instrument. I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. We're going to do it with MIDI effects. We're not going to do it with samples. But that being said, if you start with a great source, then the MIDI effects that you add are 9 times out of 10 just going to make it that much better. So I'm doing this as simple as possible so that this video isn't 3 hours long. Okay, so here we go. All right, so now with this simple piano that we have, I'm gonna triple this. So now we've got three versions of the same thing. And now in Logic, I'm going to create what's called a track stack out of this. So what a track stack is essentially, I mean, you can do this in any DAW. Essentially, all I'm doing is I'm taking all of these tracks and I'm sending them all out of the same bus, and then they're getting summed up in one auxiliary bus here. So So if I go to the main bus, they're going to be 3, so it's just going to be louder. There's a little bit of phase there too. So I'm going to keep that one there. I'm actually going to do some hard panning here. And the reason I'm doing this is because a nice wide stereo field with a bunch of effects, I'm going to add some delays and stuff and reverb too, which it's going to... So you hear the difference now. Okay, so let's, how do I want to do this? This is going to be based on tempo, so I want to be a little careful here with... All right, so first things first, I am going to focus, I'm going to ignore the center panned one. Let's go to the left one. Let's add a chord trigger on this. Now, this is what's fun is like, I sort of had the choose between how I wanted to display these how I wanted these samples to perform as I was using them in music. And I found this interesting thing where I decided, like I've been doing this for so long that I decided it might be like kind of helpful and like a neat opportunity to actually sell some of these as instruments. So for my album Ocean Whispers that just came out, I created a lot of these custom instruments for it. And I'm actually going to sell some of these on my website. So if you're interested, you can check that out. But I'm going to show you how to make like most of the ones that I did entirely on your own if you're interested in going down that rabbit hole. But the reason I'm bringing that up now is because it was at this point that I kind of had to make a decision because when I wanted to choose chords that would get assigned here. So like, let me show you an example. So if I choose perfect fifth, I'm going to play a C and it's going to add G. GD, CG, GD. So this opens up all kinds of possibilities for when I'm going to start arpeggiating these sounds. And so I had to think through if I wanted to keep the fifths or if I wanted to go with octaves, because octaves sort of make it makes it possible for you to you can basically create any kind of chord that you want in the future, and you can create all kinds of interesting sounds. But you're also limited. There's something about fifths that when you play them in sync, which I'll get to this and you'll see what I'm talking about, you're basically forced to play 1, 4, and 5. Sometimes you can get away with a minor 6 too, depending on if you've got a certain mode that you've written your song in. But as you can see here, that's just octaves. Right now, today, we're going to go with fifths because I think it's going to sound cooler ultimately. Okay, so that's a chord trigger we've got. Now we're going to put an arpeggiator on this. And let's keep it... How do I... Yeah. Okay, so let's go with a grid. I think that's going to sound a little cleaner here. And all I'm doing right now is just creating a pattern that's like... Well, you can see it with your own eyes. It's essentially going to sound... Okay. Okay, and all I'm doing right now is I'm just holding down, an A minor chord. I'm not actually playing all of these individually. Okay, I think that works. So now you'll hear it. Okay, so we're getting there. Now let's let me see here. I'm gonna add some tape delay to this. This is probably my favorite stock plugin that comes with Logic. I use this on just about everything. This is the tape delay. I'm gonna let's spread this out. I usually set the flutter intensity somewhere between 30 and 40%. I usually don't go past 3.1 hertz. So you can hear, you hear the tape warbling there. Okay, and since we're going that route, let's throw on some tape as well. Let's go with Waves Factory. Okay, that's quite a bit of hiss. Now, for what I'm going to be using this for, these samples are going to get beefed up in volume later, and they're also going to be, the noise floor is going to get louder, so I have to keep this in mind. I really don't want to add too much static right now, because the way that this is going, I'm going to be adding all of these sounds together in one final instrument, and all of that static will overwhelm the instrument if I add too much right here. Okay, all right, cool. So let's do the same thing here. In fact, this time, let's go with octaves this time. Okay, and now we're going to go with an arpeggiator. I did a quarter before, right? So let's try dotted quarter. Okay. All right, something like that. Yeah, I like that. Let's maybe beef up the speed just a little bit. Okay. Now, let's start affecting this here. Do I want to do tape delay again? Yeah, why not? Let's get tape nasty with this. In fact, that's right, I forgot I can actually, let's do quarter dotted. And we're going to do a little bit more intensity and a slightly different flutter rate. Let's stop at 3. And let's not have many lows on this side. Okay, and now we're going to add some reverb, I think. Let's go to, I think this is a free reverb, I'm pretty sure. I think Native Instruments gives this one away. Replica, I love this. I use this on so many things. Let's go with eighth notes for this. That's probably a little too much. Okay, I can already tell there's a little too much trouble in here for me. Some volume too. Okay, so we got some promising stuff in here. I'm still not crazy. Okay, I've got like kind of it's kind of like my secret weapon plugin here. It's called Gulfas, I think. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Essentially, it's kind of like, it'll turn whatever you give it eventually into pink noise-ish, kind of. I use it for mastering a lot, but it's really good for adding some EQ back into things. Yeah, so that's quite a bit of brightness. Okay. All right. We're coming along here. Yeah, I'm actually I'm curious how this is going to sound. So let's do that. So let's create a new audio track. Let's say I actually want to, yeah, because I'm going to send this, let's sum this up. So I'm going to send it by a bus. I want no output for now. Okay, and I'm going to send the Minecrafty piano out to this guy, to bus 2, or to bus 30, auxiliary 2. Now let me make sure. Okay, cool. So that means this should theoretically work. All right, cool. Everything works. So let's, how do I want to do this? I'm actually going to record octaves. I think this is going to give the best. Yeah, this is definitely going to work. So I'm going to speed this part up for you because it would be boring otherwise. I'm going to get about a minute out of each note that I record, because the way it generates is things are compounding on top of each other, and so it's not going to repeat, which is why I like such long takes for this. So. All right, now let's hear our work. Let's assign an output. Ah, yes. Okay, here's a good point. So something I want to do, if you look at these files, you'll notice that it's a little bit heavier on the top, which is the left side, than it is on the bottom, which is the right side. So in order to balance this out when I make the instrument, I'm actually going to take all of the Bs and move them to a separate track. And then in Logic, I think the easiest way to do this is with the gain. There might be an easier way, but this is how I do it. You can swap left, right here. So, yeah, you can hear the difference. Okay. Okay, now I would like to, I'm just going to beef these up a little bit. Let's try 3 deep. Nah, it's too much. Let's try 2 at first. I'm actually going to just listen to them real quick. Yeah, this one's just a little too loud. Let's go with 1. Okay, so now I'm going to export these files, and I'd like to create a new folder. Let's call this edits plus verb. Okay. All right, so now hopefully this will work. Again, this is the fun part about it, is it's an experiment as you're doing it. I never really know how it's going to end up. I've got somewhat of a flow now down because I've been doing this specific thing for about a month now. But you still, you never really entirely know what you're doing. Yes, so let's go to mapping editor again. This time we're going to have one group. It's going to be a very simple instrument, but because most of the complexity is now baked into the samples, which is what I wanted. Okay. All right, same deal here. Auto map. This one should be fairly straightforward, hopefully. No, don't ignore me. Set to a single key, apply. Okay. Do the same thing here. Stretch those out. I'm going to go to C1 again. Let's go to C5. Okay, so here we go. I don't know what this is going to sound like, but let's just play around. You know what I just realized? I'm going to have to redo these because I foolishly did not place fades on these samples, which you have to do. Yeah, I don't know if you could hear, but there's a little popping and clicking when I was playing it in there. Let's just take a second. All right. Yeah, so I like the start of this. There's still some EQing and stuff I'm not a big fan of. So now it comes down to the philosophy of like, do you want to bake it into the samples or do you want to use Kontakt to fix it? I think in this case, for time's sake, how much time do we have? Okay, for time's sake, I'm just going to do this in Kontakt. So let's get started. I want to remove some of the highs that are in there. Well, in fact, this would actually be a good place. Let's do this now. Let's add a mod wheel action here. Okay, so for now it's just doing volume. Let's do a lag of about 800. Okay, and now I want to put on a filter. Let's go with, let's do the ladder 2. Okay, and I also want to apply it here. Okay, another thing while we're here, I like to move the release up for this at least while I'm experimenting. Yeah, put the attack too. Yeah, maybe a little less. Okay. And let's add some reverb. Reverb always helps. Actually, yeah, let's let's try Real Room. It's a little too I don't know, it's got like a it sounds kind of, I don't like it. It's not bad. Too low, isn't it? Try a dense plate. Okay, so I don't know, there's parts of this that feel really cheesy to me. I really am trying to debate how far I want to go down this rabbit hole. I think actually it might be easier. Let's save this real quick. Let's not save it there. Let's keep it in here for now. Okay. All right, so now I'm gonna this is kind of exactly how I started another instrument that I made. So let me pull this one up so you can see kind of what a lot of EQing and a lot of reverb tweaking and a lot of elements like that can bring out. Okay, which one did was it the shimmer piano? I think it was shimmer piano. I think. So as you can hear, there's like a lot more mechanical stuff going on. And actually, when I recorded this version, I actually had some cloth covering the piano back there. There's cloth in between the hammers and the strings. And so it actually, most of the noise you're hearing is more mechanical in nature, which I really liked. But so here's another thing that I did. I actually took that and I blended it with another one that I made using a piano that wasn't mine. I believe pretty sure I used Niels Fromm's piano for this. But let me find it here and verify. I probably would have, yeah, I put it in not for sale because I don't want to get in trouble. I think it was this one. Yeah, and so this was the one. And so what I did for my album is, this was for like my, like the main piano that I used that's on most of the tracks on there. I actually blended both of these. Peaking the volume there a little bit. Hopefully you didn't hear too much distortion, but I really like the way that this came together. So if you're interested, I will definitely show you how I got from what we've heard so far to this. It actually wasn't that much work. It was just kind of like EQ surgery. It was just going in and removing certain resonance that were just really jarring and difficult to listen to. Like you'll see under the hood, there really isn't, okay, there's some code and all that, which I'll get into that as well if you're interested. But yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 samples. So it's really not much more complex than that. It's just getting those wave files, getting them pretty, getting them done. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful. I hope it inspires you to create your own instruments. And thank you for watching.